Please, stand by me. Eleanor sat at the old, worn-out piano in the center of the dilapidated concert hall, her fingers skimming the keys gently. It was a place she had visited often in her dreams, but now, in the depth of night, it felt both strange and oddly familiar. Eleanor's life had been a melodious journey of highs and lows, much like the songs she played. The hall symbolized her prime time, when her fingers would dance on the keys and enrapture audiences far and wide. Now, those days seemed like distant memories, clouded by the fog of time and the burden of solitude. After her meteoric rise to fame in her 20s, life had thrown its share of curveballs at Eleanor. From failed relationships to missed opportunities, Eleanor's life story was one of resilience interspersed with episodes of doubt. In the silence of the night, a soft voice echoed, rousing Eleanor from her deep reverie. It was Loretta, her childhood friend, and the person who had introduced her to the world of music. Loretta had passed away years ago, but here she was, in the dreamy recesses of the concert hall, as young and vibrant as Eleanor remembered. "Ellie," Loretta whispered, "you've let the weight of the world quieten the music inside you." "But life has changed, Loretta. The melodies aren't the same anymore," Eleanor murmured. "That's because you're playing the tunes of regret and not of love, passion, or joy. You need to play for yourself again, not for the world," Loretta replied with a knowing smile. Eleanor looked down at the keys, her fingers beginning to move with newfound purpose. The music that emerged was hauntingly beautiful, a fusion of all the emotions she'd bottled up over the years. The concert hall, which had felt desolate and old, seemed to breathe and resonate with the music. As Eleanor played, she felt a rush of memories. Her first piano lesson with Loretta, the applause of her first audience, the tears she shed over lost loves, the joy of mastering a difficult tune, the pain of losing Loretta, everything came flooding back. As the last note faded, Eleanor felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in years. Loretta, with tears in her eyes, whispered, "Always remember, Ellie, life's music changes. Sometimes it's a soft lullaby, sometimes a raging storm. But it's all music, and it's all beautiful." Eleanor woke up, feeling rejuvenated. The dream, or perhaps the visitation, had brought clarity. She decided to teach music to young children, sharing her passion and ensuring the melodies lived on. Her classes became immensely popular, with Eleanor not just teaching piano but life lessons too. She often told her students, "When life gets tough, when everything seems out of tune, close your eyes, and find your song. And remember, please, stand by it." Years later, as an old woman, Eleanor passed away, leaving behind a legacy of music, love, and resilience. And in a distant, dreamy concert hall, two friends reunited, their laughter echoing in the eternity of melodies. The wheelchair. The crisp London air held a touch of mist as Alicia made her way through the crowded streets, maneuvering her wheelchair with practiced ease. She had been wheelchair-bound for nearly a decade now, a result of a car accident that stole away her mobility but left her with a fierce determination and a new perspective on life. One might assume her life was one of sorrow or limitations, but Alicia believed differently. She viewed her wheelchair not as a constraint but as a chariot that carried her through the vibrant tapestry of life, ensuring she never missed a single thread of its intricate design. She was a renowned author, penning tales that delved into the human spirit's resilience and adaptability. Her books, filled with rich characters often overcoming physical or emotional hardships, resonated deeply with her readers. It was on a chilly Wednesday morning that she found herself at Lavelle's, a quaint cafe she frequented, when a stranger approached her. A tall man with salt and pepper hair and deep-set blue eyes, he introduced himself as Frederick, a neuroscientist working on cutting-edge technology that could potentially allow paralyzed individuals to walk again. Frederick had read many of Alicia's books and believed she would be the perfect candidate for his trial experiment. It involved a complex procedure where a computer interface would be connected to the brain, allowing it to send signals to the legs. It sounded like science fiction, but Frederick's conviction was palpable. Alicia was torn. Part of her yearned to feel the sensation of walking again, to climb stairs, or simply to stand and stretch. But another part of her had grown comfortable with her life, even proud of the barriers she had overcome and the identity she had forged. The dilemma plagued her for weeks. Sleepless nights were spent reflecting on her journey, the initial despair post-accident, the grueling rehab, the first time she moved her wheelchair on her own, and the freedom it symbolized. She decided to meet other patients who had undergone Frederick's procedure. Their stories were a mixture of hope and caution. Some spoke of the unparalleled joy of taking their first steps, while others regretted the decision, finding the physical and psychological adjustments too challenging. One evening, as Alicia watched the sun dip below the horizon, she came to a realization. Her wheelchair had become an integral part of her, a testament to her strength and resilience. She declined Frederick's offer, choosing instead to embrace her life as it was. Alicia's decision became the subject of her next bestseller, a poignant memoir that delved deep into her introspection and the societal perceptions of normality. The book ended with a powerful message: it's not our physical state but our mental fortitude that defines us. Every choice we make carves out our unique path, and every path, no matter how unconventional, has its own beauty. Frederick, though initially disappointed, came to respect Alicia's choice. They developed a deep friendship, often engaging in long philosophical debates about science, ethics, and the essence of humanity. Alicia's story served as a poignant reminder that life's true richness doesn't come from our physical abilities or the milestones society expects us to achieve. Instead, it lies in the choices we make, the challenges we overcome, and the narratives we choose to write for ourselves. Candy Machine. The streets of Manhattan buzzed with life even at the late hour of 11 p.m. Skyscrapers dotted the skyline, sending radiant beams of artificial light in all directions. Among these high-rise giants, on the corner of 53rd Street, was an old-fashioned candy shop, Gerald's Sweet Delights. While the shop had its fair share of regular visitors, most patrons were drawn by one particular attraction, the candy machine. The candy machine was no ordinary dispenser of sweets. Standing at a height of 7 feet, its elaborate brass and mahogany design featured intricate carvings and a large glass display filled with multicolored candies. There was a sign at its base that read, "Tell me your deepest desire, and I shall grant you a candy to match." Ella, a 27-year-old journalist, had heard tales of this peculiar machine. The stories ranged from a man receiving a candy that tasted like the first snow of winter, bringing back memories of his childhood, to a woman who was reminded of her first love with a candy tasting like a summer afternoon. Skeptical yet intrigued, Ella decided to visit Gerald's. Entering the shop, she was greeted by the warm scent of caramel and chocolate. An elderly man, presumably Gerald, stood behind the counter, wrapping candies in delicate paper. Ella approached the candy machine, coins in hand. She closed her eyes, whispered her deepest desire, and inserted the coin. There was a series of mechanical noises, and a candy dropped into the tray. Picking it up, she examined the small, pearlescent piece that seemed to glow faintly. She placed the candy in her mouth and was immediately overwhelmed. It tasted like the salty breeze of the Atlantic, reminding her of the vacations she used to take with her family to the coastal town of Montauk. The memories were so vivid, she could hear the waves crashing, feel the sand between her toes, and recall the laughter shared with her younger brother, Max, who had tragically passed away a few years ago. Tears filled her eyes. Ella approached Gerald. How does it do that?" Gerald smiled warmly. "The machine doesn't have magic, my dear. The candies merely act as conduits, helping you access emotions and memories you've locked away. The real magic is within you." Ella left the store with a newfound appreciation for the power of memories. The candy didn't change her life or alter her past, but it allowed her a moment of reflection, a connection to a time she thought was lost. In a city that was always looking forward, the candy machine was a gentle reminder of the beauty in looking back. And so, amidst the ever-changing landscape of Manhattan, the candy machine at Gerald's Sweet Delight stood as a testament to the enduring power of memories, offering a brief escape to a city that never sleeps. Sweet dreams. On a cobbled street in Florence, sandwiched between historic structures and bustling cafes, there was a quaint little shop named La Stanza dei Sogni, or the Room of Dreams. From the outside, it appeared to be an ordinary bookstore, its wooden panels aged and varnished, its windows adorned with various titles. But there was nothing ordinary about the experiences it offered. Rumors had it that every book inside this store was unique, in a very peculiar way. When a person read a book from La Stanza dei Sogni, it would narrate not a pre-written tale, but the reader's own dreams, dreams they'd forgotten, dreams they'd never seen, and sometimes, dreams they were yet to have. Amora, an astrophysicist from the States, was in Florence for a conference. On her day off, she had decided to explore the old town and had unintentionally stumbled upon the shop. An avid reader and a lover of all things esoteric, she was immediately intrigued by the whispered legends surrounding it. She stepped in, greeted by the scent of aged paper and leather. Rows and rows of books stood tall, their spines bearing no names. An elderly woman, with silver streaks in her hair and dressed in a flowing maroon dress, approached her. "Find the book that calls out to you," she said with a warm smile, "and it will show you a world you've never known." Taking the advice to heart, Amora wandered through the aisles. She soon found herself drawn to a turquoise-bound book with intricate golden patterns. Opening it, she began to read. The words on the page transported her to a celestial realm. She was floating amidst the stars, not as Amora the astrophysicist, but as a celestial being, made of stardust and light. She interacted with nebulas and constellations, she danced around black holes and traversed galaxies. In this dream realm, she wasn't studying the universe, she was a part of it. As the experience continued, Amora came to a profound realization. The stars whispered secrets of existence, and she felt an overwhelming interconnectedness with the universe. It was a dream, yet it felt more real than reality itself. Emerging from the narrative, Amora found herself back in the shop, the weight of the experience heavy in her heart. She looked up to find the elderly woman watching her, a knowing smile on her face. "Some dreams," she said gently, "are more than just figments of our imagination. They are echoes from the universe, reminding us of our place within it." Amora purchased the book, though she knew it wouldn't read the same way again. But it wasn't about revisiting the dream, it was a memento of an inexplicable journey. As she left La Stanza dei Sogni, Florence felt different. The world felt different. For Amora had not just read a book, she had journeyed through the cosmos, finding herself amidst the vastness of the universe. And that was the magic of the Room of Dreams, it made dreamers out of readers and believers out of skeptics.